Please rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kevin Chaney will lead us in prayer.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for another day. We thank you for living in a free country that will exercise one of the greatest privileges on earth. It's the right to vote tomorrow. We thank you for those that have sacrificed to provide that right for us. We pray for those that are sick and watch over our citizens in this bad weather. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Next item agenda roll call. All present here tonight. Next item be approval of the minutes. Entertain a motion to approve the minutes from October 15th, 2018.
So moved.
Motion from Bill Eskew. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Robert. Was that you? Robert Taylor Jr. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, unfinished business. Is there any unfinished business? New business, and a new business public hearing, ordinance BB 686. An ordinance to amend the text of the Dyersburg Municipal Zoning Ordinance to adopt standards for indoor sports shooting ranges. Before the Planning Commission, was approved at the Planning Commission. It came before this body at the last meeting to have notice of public hearing. It was also in the newspaper as well on October 15th. At this time, I'd ask if anybody has any questions. Thomas Mullins is here to discuss this.
Mayor, I have a question. Thomas, you getting any feedback on from anybody about this? This is kind of a landmark decision that we're going to make concerning the indoor range in Dyersburg. Are you getting any comments? You would probably get some if they were out there.
No, I've spoken with several people about it. Everybody's been very positive.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? This is a public hearing. Anybody in the audience wish to speak to it? Seeing no one, entertain a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Motion from Bob Kirk. Is there a second? Second from Kevin Chaney. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, Street Sanitation Committee meeting minutes from October 18, 2018. Chairman Mike Morgan.
Thank you, Mayor. The Street and Sanitation Committee met on Tuesday, October the 18th at 9 a.m. at McIvers Grant Public Library. Members present were Mayor John Holden, Bill Eskew, Kevin Chaney, Committee Chairman Mike Morgan. Other members present, other Alderman present, Terry Glover, Scott Staggs, Robert Taylor Jr. Staff present was Greg Williams, Purchasing, Brandon Hutchison with the State Gazette, Scott Ball, Stormwater and Construction, Tiffany Hurd, City Engineer, Mike McCullough, Street and Water Superintendent, and some citizens from the community. The meeting opened with prayer. The committee convened to continue discussion of the recommendations of a city engineering study of the drainage concerns for Woodside Lane and Highway 104 East located in Rolling Meadows. At the October 9th committee meeting, it was recommended to meet with the city engineer to rediscuss the engineer's study further in an attempt to address questions and concerns for all those involved. No committee action was taken at that time. The drainage issue discussion had been a concern for Rolling Meadows residents and adjacent farm property owners. Residents petitioned the city for assistance to the drainage concern at a street committee meeting on August 28, 2017. At that time, the committee agreed to commission an engineering study of the issue and determine options for assisting the residents concerned. From that study, the committee accepted the result from the engineering study and approved the project to go out for bid. The bid price came in at approximately $178,900 to do the drainage improvements that was recommended in the engineering study. City Engineer Tiffany Hurd explained the study results and reconfirmed the recommendations of the study. Ms. Hurd noted that the engineer's office had explored a recommendation made at the last street committee meeting by an adjacent farmland owner concerning this issue. She noted the overall cost of that recommendation to the solution would exceed approximately $400,000. It would require significant earthwork, paving, driveway removal and reconstruction, and long-term maintenance by the city, to list a few of the major aspects of such a project. The engineer further explained a major problem with the entire drainage area was the lack of the natural slope in the event of a significant rainfall over a short period of time. The drainage slows down and the water may be retained with the current drainage system. Landowner Michael Simmons discussed his issues with his home location and the significant rainwater runoff that affects his property. He noted his property essentially serves as the detention area for the drainage location. Without intervention, he feels his home will continue to catch all the runoff water and become of less value. Mayor Holden opened up discussion regarding if Mr. Simmons had any interest in selling his property to the city. Mr. Simmons stated that he may be interested in that idea. He felt his home was worth at least $140,000. Alderman Eskew stated that the problem the city was attempting to address was specifically with the issues surrounding Mr. Simmons' home, while attempting to not create any other drainage problems with any other properties in the area. Alderman Cheney stated that there were many similar issues throughout the city due to the older development practices that did not provide for the development guidelines for the building and construction. He acknowledged that the city would have to address each issue uniquely. At the end of the discussion, Chairman Mike Morgan motioned for the committee to proceed with the initial project solution presented by the engineer and to proceed with a formal conclusion to the bid procedure as presented at the approximate cost of $178,900. Alderman Kevin Cheney seconded the motion, and the motion passed and will be presented tonight at the board, and I'll put that in form of motion.
Okay, a motion from Mike Morgan, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Bill Eskew, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
In other discussion, Alderman Cheney requested a meeting of the Finance Committee to discuss some citizen concern regarding the pension plan and loans for industry. He said a meeting of the Finance Committee may best allow him clarification into the matters. Mayor Holden informed the committee that he had just received a letter from the State Comptroller's Office regarding these subjects and that he will share the letter with the board for their information. Mayor Holden stated that the Finance Committee could meet on Monday, November the 5th, 2018. Additionally, Scott Ball discussed an update regarding the activity for street paving. He noted that an advertisement for bid notification and RFP submission will appear in the Sunday State Gazette. Bid opening is scheduled for November the 1st, 2018. Results from the bid opening will be available for the next scheduled board meeting. Finally, Mayor Holden told the committee that the outdated downtown Christmas decorated lights had been sold on the approved government auction website, netting approximately $3,600. He wanted the 6 of the 8 aldermen in attendance to be aware that he would like to donate the proceeds to the downtown Dyersburg Development Board to assist them in purchasing new winter season lights for the downtown square. Does that need to go on a motion or anything?
Yeah, we can do that. We didn't actually take formal action at the meeting, but those are those street lights that we had for how long, Greg? Long time?
20 years.
Okay, been a long time. So we put on gov.deals. We saw the Downtown Association is purchasing new street lights for decorations for Christmas, and they have asked us if we would donate the proceeds from the sale of those old lights to that organization to help buy more lights. So I guess a motion would be in order here to do that if we wanted to assist the Downtown Association. Kevin Cheney, second from Mike Morgan. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
No further business, the committee adjourned at 9:55.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda, bids. Greg Williams.
Mayor, can I ask a question about the previous issue?
Yes, sir.
That the Finance Committee was told Monday, November the 5th?
Yes, sir.
Has that been continued to another meeting, or what was it?
Yeah, we can have it whenever you want to. I think Lauren reached out to the chairman and was not able to meet yesterday.
Okay.
Reached out last week, I believe,
So
so
we
we
had
scheduled
set
when we
another
want to.
Had said no.
We can, yes,
I
sir.
said it hadn't been yet.
It has not.
Okay,
yes, sir.
okay, that's
Not
what,
yet.
thank you.
Okay, great.
See, I had several bids to approve tonight. Since we got our bond issue funding approved, we've been able to move forward with some of these projects. First being street paving, as was mentioned in the committee reports, to address those on that list. This is the budgeted out of $2 million appropriated in the bond issue. Notification was given through the State Gazette and area plan rooms. We had one bidder pick up plans and submit a bid. That is Ford Construction for $1,544,613 for the list of streets. And I would also recommend awarding the bid to them, but also using the balance bid quantities on various streets as they come available, and we feel like they need to be done. That's my recommendation.
You've heard the recommendation, entertain a motion to approve this.
So move. So move. I have a question.
Have a motion, Bob Kurtz, or a second?
So originally, we talked about, how much did we talk about originally in, doing for street paving out of the bond issue?
$2 million.
2 million.
2 million.
So we're at $1.5 million then.
We're at $1.5 million for the streets
Then
identified.
you'll do some others, based on the quantities, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we've got a motion, I need a second.
Second.
Second, Kevin Cheney, any other discussion?
Let me ask another question. When does Ford Sankey do this? They're about ready to shut down, I assume.
Yeah, they've only got basically 2 weeks left. They are in Lauderdale County. If we get any done this year, I feel like we'll be lucky.
It'll be spring then. Okay, thank you.
If they do get something done this year, in my understanding, they're gonna try to do, Frank Manor.
That's gonna be the first if that becomes available. That's what we're gonna ask for.
Okay, any other questions? Got a motion, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
And then the next item is a mini excavator and a trailer for the cemetery. Put these out together, I bid them out together to see if we would have an advantage of doing so, but also retain the right of purchasing them separate. In your packet, you received my recommendation to award it on the Kubota. But over the weekend, Mike demonstrated a Kubota and found that it did not have as tight of a turning radius as the Bobcat. So we feel like the best application in the cemetery is going to be the Bobcat and not the Kubota. So based on that, I would recommend awarding the excavator bid to Williams Equipment of Jackson, $50,319.52, and awarding the trailer bid to First Choice Farm and Lawn of Dyersburg for $5,500.
You've heard the recommendation, entertain a motion to approve this.
I'll move.
Motion from Mike Morgan,
Second.
second from Dennis Moody. Any discussion?
Yeah, Greg, on the trailer, I know we're going with the, different trailer. Does it meet all the specs for that machine?
It does. Yes, the weight rating does. Yes.
By just buying the trailer, they're gonna be able to hold that price to the same price?
Yes, that's the way I worded it in the bid. We could buy either and the excavator or the trailer, either or.
But the problem was, he tried, you found out that the Kubota didn't meet his needs, is that correct?
That's correct. The Kubota also was a little less on the horsepower, but we were looking to possibly waive that. That's why he wanted to demonstrate it. And after demonstrating, he just found that it would be a better machine on the Bobcat.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Have a motion, a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Next order bid is for the wastewater plant. It's roofs on 7 of his buildings that are all leaking and have been for a year or so. There was $226,000 included in this current budget. Notification was given to the State Gazette and the area plan rooms. We had 4 people pick up bid packages, 1 no response, and the bids range from $270,034 to $196,221. I recommend awarding the bid to Fraser Roofing of Dyersburg, $196,221.
You've heard the recommendation, entertain a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Motion from Scott. Second.
Second.
Second from Dennis, any discussion?
Greg, are these, roofs, built up type roof, or is it membrane?
Kevin, I should have looked, they went through engineering. I'm afraid to say, I think they're membrane roofs,
Yeah.
but I could be wrong.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Have a motion, and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
Next item is for City Hall. It is paving the parking lot, which is in disrepair. There was $45,000 budgeted in this year's budget. Notification was given through the State Gazette and directed 3 bidders. I had 1 no response, 1 no bid, and a bid from Ford Construction of $43,424.25. I recommend awarding to Ford. And they will also try to get that before winter, but he couldn't promise anything.
Per the recommendation, entertain a motion to approve that.
So,
Motion from Kevin Cheney, is there a second? Second. Second from Terry Glover, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries.
The last item is for the police department. Included in this year's budget was $555,000 with the anticipation of buying 15 police pursuit SUVs with the bond issue. Notification was given through the State Gazette and direct to 4 vendors. Had 2 responding. One was TT of Murfreesboro, who holds the state contract, $35,461 each, and these are equipped vehicles. Tim Castellaw bid a Dodge Durango, $34,746.50. He said that they were unable to bid on the Ford because all the orders had been placed, and they were not taking any more into 2020 models. But since the dealer from Murfreesboro had the state contract, they already had their orders placed. The chief and his staff have researched this. They feel comfortable with the Dodge Durango SUV, and the price bid would allow them to buy 16 instead of 14. So I recommend awarding the bid to Tim Castellaw Automotive, Dyersburg, for 16 police pursuit SUVs for $555,944.
You've heard the recommendation, entertain a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Motion from Bob Kirk, is there a second?
Second.
Second from Scott, any discussion?
Mayor, I have a question. Chief, I know for years and years, Chrysler products were not what you wanted, and you wound up getting Fords, and I thought you had good service out of those, and now, I guess, I'm assuming you feel pretty comfortable going back to the Dodge company and buying their SUVs. Is that correct?
That's correct. The Dodge, they now have the Pursuit package vehicle, which is very comparable to the Ford Explorer Pursuit package. Has the heavy-duty suspension, has everything that the Ford Explorer currently has. And actually, it's a little bit larger inside. We think it's going to be a benefit to us. So we feel pretty comfortable.
Well, I know we had some problems with the Chrysler products in years past.
That's
At least
correct.
I asked that question.
Yes, sir. And that was going to be the cars. We still have 11 of those in service. We've had, I think, maybe 2 transmissions and maybe an engine in those vehicles. Keep in mind that most of those are 2011 models, and that Dodge has made some improvements with their police service vehicle.
Thank you. What's the delivery time on these vehicles?
End of January, I believe.
And their model, the year model is
19.
19, and all of them at the end of January?
Yes.
That's what you're talking about? Okay, very good. All right, thank you.
Chief, did you check with anybody that using them now?
It's new. There are agencies that have ordered them. Now, some agencies have the other model in service and has been successful. Knoxville, for one. And so what Dodge has done, they've taken their old Durango,
SSV.
SSV, and they still offer it, but now they have the full police package Durango, which is what we're ordering. So this is fairly new with Dodge, but in doing all the research, it's gonna be very comparable to the Ford.
I was concerned as Mr. Kirk was, 'cause I remember in some of the meetings we had this year that there was you gave us a list of how much work we were doing on our Dodge Chargers, and how much money we were spending, so.
Right.
I didn't want to be sure you was humble with it.
Yes, well, you know, a couple of transmissions and an engine, and it fits into our budget quickly, but we feel good with the Durango and the changes that they have made.
Any other questions? Have a motion, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Greg. Next item on the agenda, report from Alderman Bob Kirk.
Mayor, I have one question. Thanks for getting us the financials for the first quarter. It kind of struck me as being a little strange that through September, we had collected 178, 66% of the budget in taxes. We normally collect taxes that early in the season, or I thought we'd collect them more in October, November, and December, but I mean, that's good news. I think it's good that we've collected them that soon into the new fiscal year.
Right, that's a question for Steve Anderson.
Well,
We can find out.
I mean, it's good news.
Sure,
Yeah, collect them that soon in the first quarter. Anyway, thanks for the financial report. Appreciate it.
Sure.
That's all I have.
Sure, Bill?
Election tomorrow, just want to wish everybody luck.
Me?
Mr. Glover?
I'd like to thank Mike McCullough and Chad, demolition of a house here left field on Bruce, Community Center. That looks good down through there. They did a good job cleaning it up. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin?
I don't have anything, Mayor.
Mike?
I don't have nothing.
Dennis?
Yeah, just remind everybody to get out and vote. Also, I want to thank everyone for their prayers, calls, visits, cards, flowers, and those that attended our mother's funeral. Mark and I and our families appreciate every act of kindness. Thank you.
Thank you. We're sorry for your loss, Dennis, and Captain Moody as well. Scott?
Just remind everybody, Friday night's a big football game, second round of the playoffs for the Trojans. So come out and show your support.
Thank you. Robert? I passed out codes enforcement report for October to the Alderman, supplied by Thomas and Kevin. Also in your packet was information about loose leaf pickup started today. Don't know how much we did today with the rain and stuff, but that starts today and will go through January 31st, 2019. With that, we're adjourned. Thank you.